Okay, here we go, guys. You ready to go?
Got it out.
Let's go. And hopefully,
let's go live.
We are going.
Paul, do you have your
glasses?
I don't. Am I supposed to run and get them? Was
Mate,
that part of the rules?
No, yeah, it's not an essential. Well, it's yeah. I forgot mine last week, so
should I run get them? They're in the car.
Oh no, then no. But it would be better if someone says something.
The car's right there. The car's right there.
Do it, dude. Just while we're waiting for the white oak to maximize his cool and get his shades again, I just wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the chat, let us know if we're live. I'm going to try and find it on here. Avoid the adverts if I can.
Coach Ray, cat manager.
Mate, absolute quality.
Coach Ray's fluffy cat tail. I love those. Yeah.
They're starting to really kick off, aren't they? I'm pretty sure we are. Yep. Fartgate continues as well. Did we solve that?
Yeah, we are live. We're
live. I'm seeing them coming. Boom, guys. Yes. Everybody in the chat, let's go. So, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, yes, Paul.
Yeah.
Tell you what, mate.
Can Paul look even cooler?
That's pretty bloody good, mate. That is pretty good. And for the people just joining the show, please like and fire it out so we can get some more people in here. And I'd just like to say before we kick things off that The Fix is live and brought to you by Western Survivor Beef Jerky. The greatest beef jerky
of all time.
In history of all time. Neil, you have to do that thing so I can share that thing. You remember? You have to enable that thing so I can share that thing.
Oh, show me. How do I enable that?
So today, everyone who's already joining us, we have like 50 people already. So you can call your friends and tell Ryan is not coming today. So
that's a bloody good point. Well put.
Yeah, you can, finally you can watch it with your family.
What have I got to hit again here, buddy, to do that? To do that thing that you can do that thing with that
it's
thing.
It's share screen, and on top of it should be like a click box or something, checkbox.
Participants can share, and it is enabled.
Wow. Amazing.
The technology is amazing. Right, here
amazing.
We go. Super chats are coming in. Yeah. Super chats, and it's already kicked off between the two fixed giants that are Matt Tickle My Limits Larratt and Stephen Pena. And super chat from Matt, mate. Thanks for your.
Remember, guys, you can get 15% off everything at Armwrestling.com. Just use the code Supernatural.
Thanks for that, Ryan. It's supposed to be getting married, son, but never misses an opportunity to promote the show.
Plugs, always
mid-wedding plug.
Yeah, I'll just break off because I'm going to just plug that they can get 15% off. Matt, let's get your question up here. What's up, my man Neil, Ray, and Paul? How are you all doing today? Did you see the video Devon came out with talking about the match? He seems ready as, mate. He does seem ready as, and I actually spoke to him. When did I speak to him? I spoke to Devon Friday. He called me Friday, and yeah, he's a very, very, very confident man. He is mentally, I'd say, in an extremely good place right now. And very realistic about his chances, but quietly confident without a shadow of a doubt. And the more this thing rolls forward, the more I'm looking forward to this match. Are you going to be out there, Ray, for that? Or are you actually coming back before it kicks off?
Where?
Are you going to be in Dubai for the match?
Are you crazy? Of course I'm going to be in Dubai. I'm going to stay an extra week. Then I'm leaving for Turkey.
Lovely darts, mate. You're living the dream.
I'm living the dream, yeah.
You are living the... Do you have to quarantine when you get back?
Yeah, so this is why I'm not... Like, I'm working every day here. There's no days off. So after this all finishes, I'm taking my vacation here,
Mate. You're already looking like you've been on vacation. You're tanning up nicely. It's time. Listen, when you get home, let's organise another forest shoot. All right? You up for it? You can do it, Ray. Come on. Get in the forest.
I could maybe do it. Yeah, you know, my arm is so sometimes sometimes I scream at people so they hit me, you know.
Yeah. So
Adam and Larry hits me, you know. So makes sense.
Oh, Stephen Pena back in with a question. Go here. Question of the day. What's the topic? Well, it'll be interesting, mate. We will see. There's a few things we're going to talk about today. A lot going on in the United States of America. Daniel Urick's come in with one big shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Royce. Yeah, what about that? Ryan Bowen has now got himself a new missus. Tell you what, he don't play games, does he? No, don't look over impressed, actually, there. I wonder how he is right now. Ordinarily, what time will it be over there? Now it'll be, what, 6:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
And if anything, you know, if it goes down like it should have gone down on the wedding night, it should have only been...
Oh.
Thanks, Ryan. Very, very inventive, mate. He should have already, only been to bed about, an hour? Like you, Ray. You only went to bed after watching UFC and Derek Smith, which is a unusual combination, but an effective one.
Yeah.
9 a.m. Now then, we got Darko with a super chat. Arm wrestling enable the thing live stream. I'll tell you what. We're going to leave it there. I'm going to get straight into some arm wrestling action. It's time to get serious. The glasses are coming off. Ray's aren't, because... Let's talk about United States of America yesterday. And let's talk about the big match that everybody was talking about over there between Justin Bama Bull Bishop. And he's been on a tear recently, Justin. Yeah. But he was trying to chase down a good friend of yours, Paul Talbot, who is and has been a dominant force left-handed in or around that weight class for quite some time. And I didn't check in with you, Paul, before that thing went down. Where did you sort of have it going into the match? Did you think that it was all Paul, or did you think Justin had something for him?
I love Justin. I like, he's one of my favorite like human beings in arm wrestling. I love everything he does content-wise, and I think he's hilarious and just a good dude. But I've been training with Paul for like the past 8 weeks, and I was quietly telling everybody that it was going to be a 3-0 match. That said, I don't even think Paul pulled clean. And you know, I talked to him right before and right after, and he wasn't happy with his performance. Like his goal in that was to really set himself apart completely. Because for the record, guys, and I mean, I think Paul Talbot, because he's not on social media, he doesn't promote himself. I think he falls victim to being overlooked majorly. This guy is the top 198 left-hander. Any weight class he chooses to pull, really. I mean, anything 220 and below, he is probably the best left arm on this continent. And I don't think he gets that notoriety. And I think like a motivation to him was the fact that most people were saying that Justin was going to beat him. Like it was like 80-20 Bishop support, like as far as people following. Yeah. And we quietly trained once or twice a week, and he got lighter and got stronger to the point where when we first started, I was really working him left arm and we were going back and forth. And towards the end, it was no contest really. And he even gained on my right. So, and that showed on the right-hand side too. He took second to Craig Touye, who also looked amazing.
Craig looked.
Oh, he's back, buddy. He is back. That little slip up he had against Robbie Russell, I think he's kind of put that behind him and shook the cobwebs off. But I know Paul beat Justin on the right twice as well, which I think was a match he needed to avenge from the 165s. I think Justin had beat him right on.
Yeah, I want to get behind Paul because Giannis had been saying this for years, since I think the first WL he went to. He said Paul Talbot can arm wrestle with anyone in the world in his weight class. But what Paul needs, he really needs just to get adjusted to European style of pulling, and he would do very well in buff worlds. Like the last time he was in Romania, he just wasn't adjusted to it. More you compete with those kind of arms, better. You're just going to get better against those arms. Paul is the real deal. I completely agree. Yeah.
And when you say that, mate, was Giannis really referring to at the 165 pounds or 75 kilo class?
Yeah, left arm. Yeah, he said most likely Paul is somewhere on top of the world, like top 5 at that point. He said The problem is, can he beat them? Because if you never experienced, he's just as strong, just as good, but
We got a super chat real quick from Stephen Pena, and he just said, Paul, just do us a quick White Oak Cup rattle. And what the viewing public may not know is that Paul had to tone down his super microphone.
Yeah.
Specifically because of the fact.
Yeah, the cheetah's actually known as the fastest land animal. I think it can nearly reach 70 miles per hour. But it was last Saturday. It was only a slight downhill. We did clock Lachlan at 76 miles per hour.
76 miles per hour, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it there from
slight incline.
Yeah, slight. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did say a very slight downward incline, but all that to me just says that Lachlan are there.
Fast as fuck.
Thank you, Ryan, for dropping that knowledge. Now we know more.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? I wonder how his wedding went. I mean, I wonder if they got really leery. Is it like that in Australia? Did they get really leery at weddings? Yeah. Lovely.
You drinking wine?
I am, mate. Yeah, I haven't been drinking for a while actually. I had grape juice the other week. It looked like wine, but it wasn't wine. But that actually is wine. It's really nice. But I'm not gonna. You're a healthy option there, mate. I just want to match that. I see your water and I raise it. There you go. That's because otherwise I'll feel like death on a stick later on. Hey, just looking in the chat, we got Top Rod, Jason Merlo, Bass Curls is in the mother fluffing house.
Sir.
Jamie Sheldon. Jamie pulled yesterday as well, didn't he? Over there.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'm just looking at who else we've got in there. And I just want to go back to Craig Touye because we can't leave that there. Craig Touye, obviously, surgery, been out for a while. Prior to that, if you look back at Craig, he was a handful for most people in or around that weight class.
Yeah.
Yesterday, hot knife through butter.
He was big. He looked really, really good. He looked really good in the setup. He set up differently than I'm used to him setting up. I didn't get to watch all the matches, but I did get to watch the final. I talked to Paul because the tournament ran a long time. But Paul said the first time they pulled, he felt like he got to stop, but it was too deep, which is quite often with Craig. If you get to stop, it's here, and then he hits again. It's too late. The second one, oh my gosh, Craig just took everything, and I don't even think he felt Paul.
No,
he looked really, really good.
What we didn't see a great deal of yesterday, because he didn't need it, probably was the Touye second hit. That's one of his most lethal weapons, isn't it? When he hits way and then smack again. Yeah. Very, very good at that. Hey, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
That's Craig Touye just doing a second hit.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was messaging with Craig actually.
Cody Merritt on heavyweights is back. Cody Merritt.
Hold on.
There too.
Mate, heavyweight being the ultimate word. Did you see the size of the bastard?
Can we ask Jamie Sheldon real quick to confirm? Did Robbie Russell win the 185 or was it Ole Masasi? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, Ole Masai yesterday looked amazing, didn't he? He's another really solid arm wrestler on the rise, and he's only a puppy as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good guys coming up, but I kind of got my eye on Robbie Russell.
Yeah. I want to know how that panned out.
Mate, let's have a look if Jamie's come back. He's put Oleg. Yeah. And can we just go back to the size of Cody Merritt? Jesus Christ.
Cody looked good too, man. Oh. And how about the guy that beat him right arm? This random, I didn't want to say he's random. I think he's Derek. They call him Mega Mike. I don't know his last name. He's a new guy from Derek's team.
I've never seen that.
He beat Derek too.
Yeah, I've never seen him before.
Strong inside. Yeah.
Have you ever seen him pull before?
Never. I was asking you, like, who was it?
Not a guy I've ever seen before. So interesting.
Ole beat him twice in the final after the adjustment. He beat Robbie twice in the final.
It's quite weird, isn't it? Some of the results are all over the place at the moment. 1 minute we see, you think, oh, this guy's amazing. This guy's got and then the next week somebody smacks the shit out of him.
Well, I think it's styles and then lack of data. Like there's not a whole lot. Like,
yeah. Can we just go back to what Ray was saying about the comments from, focusing really on Paul Talbot and where he could be and where he would like to be. do you think that Paul would ever go light again? Because he was a giant at that weight, but he's massive now, isn't he?
I'm telling him not. I mean, my personal interactions with him, I'm begging him not to. So like right now he's walking around at about 195. It's 198 and below, and he fluctuates a lot depending on diet. But we really adjusted what he's doing in the gym, and it is an unbelievable difference in back pressure and pec driven side. He's doing things differently, and I don't feel that he needs to cut weight. I admit, I mean, what are the metric or the what are the kilogram weights? Is it like 87? I don't.
Well, at the moment you go on the 5s and on the 10s after 90. So basically it's 5 kilo splits. Then when you get to 90 kilos, 10 kilo splits. But for me, why I asked the question is because I always felt like Paul's big advantage was the fact that he was a giant lightweight. Yeah. I mean, if you look at Paul Linn and you look at Giannis, they're just completely different frame genetically. But when Paul gets bigger, he's giving away. He's not that big anymore. You know, he's not a Rob Vigent Jr. He's not a Jordan Sill. He's not a guy with massive levers. But at a lightweight, for a lightweight guy, he's a monster. Right. And I wondered whether at one point he had aspirations to go back and give a real crack at what's his aspirations in the sport, mate? Is it all professional, or is he looking to do something else and maybe go to the WAF Worlds?
I don't know. I mean, when he talked to me about WAF, like he was jaded by his performance. Yeah. He was like, he can be a negative guy in general. That's kind of his demeanor. And he was just like, Paul, those guys over there, they're killers. They're killers. We're not like that over here. They're born differently and we can't compete with them. They go 100 miles an hour right off the go. There's no way to compete with them.
Slap him real hard.
That's the type of stuff he says, though. I mean, so I don't know if he wants to go back. My gut says that he has unfinished business, and at some point in time, his stubbornness will come up and say, you know what, I'm going to go back. But
we'll get Paul Talbot versus someone good in his weight class for next East versus West.
Right.
Well, let's be honest. Paul's one of those guys that if you match him correctly, he's going to give you a really entertaining matchup because he can really pull anywhere. He's an absolute grinder.
He will pull without his hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Todd Hutchings, and he will throw his shoulder regardless of how far that goes out. Mm. He does not care. So that's where, I mean, that's how he beat Justin. Justin took his hand.
I also got to say I was impressed with Justin in that respect. Yeah. Because Justin's not been the guy that, you never expect, and I mean this with the greatest respect to Justin. He's coming on, he's improving his game, and he's a very intelligent arm wrestler. But I kind of think that he's never been the guy that if it gets into a battle, you're going to back. Justin tends to be the guy that just puts you to the sword. He just leathers you. Yeah. You're gone.
Yep.
And if it turns into a war, he's usually not the guy that does well there. But yesterday, I was really impressed with him. He was grinding. He pulled ugly a couple of times, and was very unlucky. But the level of commitment he was prepared to show in those matches was over and above anything I've seen him have to do before, and I was really impressed with him. Stephen,
he really wanted that match.
Super chat, mate. Just answering that one. In the presence of greatness, we'll be back very soon. We'll be setting one up in the next couple of weeks. And yes, I have sent you a shirt out, Stephen. The shirt, I'm sure, will be on its way to you now, mate. But they usually take somewhere about 3 weeks for anywhere in the world, unless you're Latvia, when they then take about 9 months. How long did it take to get to you, mate? It got to Australia before Latvia. We don't know why. Quite weird.
Yeah. Ryan got it like a month before I did.
He did. He literally got it ages before you, didn't he? Yeah. So, yeah, I'd like to at some point get Paul Talbot on the show. And I'll talk with him about that. And get his aspirations. He's quite shy, isn't he? He's a bit like Jordan.
Yeah. Now I make him do stuff. Like when he comes to train, I'm like, no, we're gonna do this product review. We're doing it. So you're doing it.
Yeah, but he like it off. It's
we were gonna do a promo video, but we couldn't. He fussed at me for like 2 weeks about it. I said, no, next time you're here, let me know, and we're doing a promo video. I'm done with this stuff. You know what I mean? And then I couldn't make the time when he got here because he shows up randomly.
How often do you pull with him?
Once or twice a week. He's in my hometown once or twice a week because he's on the railroad.
Yeah.
So he'll be literally 15 minutes from me, and he just got a car here. So he'll just be like, hey, I'm coming over in an hour. but I won't ever know when he's here. So it's real spontaneous.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it? And Joe Mama's just said, Neil, pull Jamie Sheldon on to replace the ginger ped man. He takes some shit. He's not even here. He's not even here tonight, and he's taking shit anyway.
Can't even his
so
wedding
Angin's
day.
been raising money for this East West versus West thing, and it's kind of based on that. I'm thinking of opening a side pressure school for children, and Uncle John already signed up as the head coach, so it's looking good.
A side pressure school for children.
Oh my God, he's shepherding the youth.
Yeah, he's nearly shut Uncle John's channel down on it. He's got Uncle John coming on as the head coach. I'm not sure Uncle John knows about that.
But Ryan's using him as a human shield.
Thanks for that, Ryan. Lovely darts, mate. Much appreciated. So, hey up, Ray's just gone for a quick one. I wanted to have a look in the chat. And we've got any questions coming in there because I haven't been looking, guys. I should have been, and I've missed a few. Let's have a look. I'll just scan back, check if we've got any questions coming in. Anybody been keeping their eye on the chat, lads? I've been chatting away.
I'm loosely looking at it here and there.
Let's have a look. So the other day I had Engin Terzi on. Obviously, Ray came on the show with us, and they were talking about East versus West on there. And
we were talking about cats.
Yeah, did you know?
It turns out Engin loves cats. That was such a great story. That was so great story.
He got a street cat, Paul, that he took it in. Engin took a street cat in. Yeah. He took it.
He starts like, I never liked the cats. Well, my wife wanted a cat. She's like, then we took in a cat. Like, 2 years ago, that cat died. I never cried more in my life.
He was really emotional about the cat.
Yeah.
It was absolute quality. It's amazing what you find out.
Neil, you know his wife is Sigita from Latvia, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, well, makes sense now.
Yeah. He's morphed onto him, isn't it? It's like the Brisbane effect backwards. If you spend time with a Latvian, you automatically fall in love with cat.
So we have a plan with Larry right before, so this next week is the last week of real training, then we're just doing moves and resting tendons and everything else. But we will do a quick trip to go to Brisbane just to drink from the source and get back here.
Just go and power up.
Yeah.
So we just had a question come into the chat from Joe Mon. This is quite close to something I wanted to.
Guys, you can get 15% off everything at poundforpoundarmwrestling.com. Just use the code SUPERNATURAL.
Cheers, Ryan. Thanks. Lovely little plug there, lad. But it's true. Remember, if you want your pound for pound merch, your pound for pound handles and other arm wrestling related stuff.
You know which one is my favorite?
Go.
My favorite is this one.
Oh, it's the best thing of all time.
I don't have the same cup. I'm moving. All my stuff's packed away. I got a weird cup.
Oh, look, mate. Coach Ray's cat dealer might be my favourite Troll Army name ever. I absolutely love that, mate. That is quality.
There's another Troll Army name there that just made me laugh. Evan Burgoyne's Beer Belly.
Yeah. Some good stuff, isn't there?
There's so many good ones. I love the Troll Army. Troll Army is awesome. Yeah.
So let's talk about the other. Oh, before we do, actually, when was the last time Rob Vigent Jr. pulled lefty against Talbot?
I don't know. I don't know if they ever pull. I don't think they ever.
I don't even know
if they ever matched.
RBJ has left arm.
No, yeah, mate.
Yeah, his left's good. His left's good.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's where my head was going. I'm thinking, how'd that match go, do you reckon?
I don't think anybody right now is beating Paul. He's motivated. He got some stuff going on in life, and I think he refocused. And I'm telling you, we changed everything that he's doing in the gym. And he is just on a trajectory right now, and he's enjoying what he's doing in the gym. He's enjoying training. He's enjoying being lighter, leaner, but with muscle. So he's 195. Like we were talking the other day, he said, normally I have to get to the 70s before I see my abs. He said, I'm seeing them now in the mid 90s.
Holy
so
shit.
we changed everything, how he's training his core. Everything's resistance training for the core, added weight, explosive stuff. And everything midsection wise is just tied together. And all of his lifts are going up. Honestly, I don't think he really knew how to, like, I don't want to say that doesn't sound right, but as far as like general strength, he didn't know how to train.
What about Storm Cellino?
I haven't seen Storm in forever. I got his wedding coming up here in the summer, but I haven't been up there since midway through COVID. So I talked to him the other day, and he said that training has been sporadic with work and everything. And I think he's suffering from the same thing a lot of us are, is just we don't have anything to really circle on the calendar, and then a lot of stuff going on in life.
Having said that, though, there's a lot going on now in the US. It's really starting to wake up, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff going on in the States.
And smaller, like newer tournaments are doing really well. Like everything's popping.
Yeah, now that
the dates throughout the summer. Yeah.
We've been talking about other people long enough, son. We're going to bring you into the spotlight a little bit because there's some interesting comments in the chat. I've just noticed we've got Mindaugas Terasatis in the chat also, another exceptional arm wrestler. I was so looking forward to getting that lad in the WAL. But anyway, let's not get off topic.
Mindaugas?
He's in the chat, mate. Yeah, I know you've got to hate him because
he said Talbot has a good fault start.
He's Lithuanian, you know. I am.
Yeah,
he knows that. I'm just busting his balls. Yeah, Mind would pull really good in every format. Like matches would be really, really good versus good opponents who want to, try to not to win, but to arm wrestle him. Because he will go there. If you want to go for a long match, he's like, okay, cool, let's do that. So.
Yeah, you give him some shit, but yeah, I like it really.
Yeah.
So I love that. Erland's just come in, mate. Thanks for your super chat. And he just put, let's talk about cats in every episode. Quite good. Let's have a look. Does Paul OG Ray, what does that mean? Maybe or I'm sure he's just mistyped that. Does Paul or Ray have any upcoming matches? I'm amazed you're not on the Larry Wheels card, mate. But to be honest, now you're out there. You got anything lined up left-handed in Dubai, Ray? Anything? Nothing?
No. We even today I contacted Alex Toprol. We already want to set it up. But he had a tournament. He had really good showing. I said, dude, if you're in form, we should have a match. But he said, his arms are trashed after the tournament and maybe even injured his riser, and, the match won't happen. Most likely, I will not arm wrestle here. So,
it's a goddamn shame. Devon Larratt will pull you, mate, left-handed. Don't worry about that. You can eat a nice, easy match there.
I'll take Michael Todd, left hand, on the card.
You'll probably keep you to that. Just Erland's at the end of that. He's put, by the way, Larry absolutely cranking on the right arm in the strap. He's looking better, isn't he?
I cannot beat him. Total honesty, I cannot beat him. Go slow. Doesn't matter. Inside out, I cannot do anything.
What did he change? What did he change?
We activated everything. Everything works together. Before that,
it's all connected. Everything connected.
It's all connected. He has more. We're the training. Everyone's his arms must be his arms doesn't hurt at all because we're not doing anything heavy. He is super strong. It's just connecting everything in arm wrestling way. So I didn't the first time I was here. We put out that one video that got a lot of views. Everyone was so happy that I was there. But I gave so much information. Looking back at the video, Larry is most of the time just what the fuck is he saying? What jargon is wrong? So now I spread out everything. We're doing one thing, and it will we're doing something 2 weeks ago, and in practice I'm going to say, remember this exercise? He says, yeah. So I'm this is how it works on tape. He's and it clicked, and everything clicked. Yeah, amazing, just amazing. Yeah.
So as time goes by, do you think he's got a better chance?
Yeah,
I think he will win. I really think he will win. I don't know what Schoolboy is, to be honest. I don't know. But if we look at Larry that was arm wrestling him on that day, this is a complete different beast. And this isn't even the same Larry that was here when Hermes was here. It's better. His right arm was just insanely We train religiously, like, you know, everything I say we don't do heavier than I want. And, you know, sometimes she's like, can I go more? I'm like, no. And it's really good. And I love the progress, and we still have time. And the last practice, table practice, was just like, he was like, we did ready goes, we did king of the table, we tried everything with everyone who was there. He destroyed everyone.
Can I just say, this is what Dimitri Dustbin. And he said, Dimitri Dustbin's come in and he's put, if Larry wins, you should buy him a cat. That's awesome. Dimitri Dustbin's my favourite. That's fucking awesome. Oh, mate, that's so childish and so quality. I absolutely I fucking love Dimitri Dustbin. I've gone. That's awesome. That's a great one. Yeah, I like that a lot, mate. Dimitri Dustbin. That respect is due. Anyway, let's get back on topic. So, Paul, there's a lot of this East versus West stuff going down, right? Now, I want to ask you and Ray, actually, this. If you were picking an opponent from the sort of East versus West whole scenario, and it can be anywhere, Western Europe as well, but just a European arm wrestler who you'd like to pull or who you believe matches well with you, who would you go for, mate? Because a lot of people have suggested stuff, but we've never heard from you if you've got anybody on your radar.
I don't even know. And maybe it's from just general lack of knowledge about how I would match up with those guys and lack of experience with ready goes, WAF style, and everything else. Honestly, I don't know. I know you guys talked about Plowman before, and that to me is interesting stylistically. I'm not opposed to pulling a hooker either, but the initiation and the setup is something I'm going to need to adjust to for sure. But I mean, I like the idea of a Zoloev. If depending on how he does with Todd, you know, if he smokes Todd, then I'll probably just fade away on that. But
yeah, I'll take up a
I don't know enough.
Stance.
I don't know enough. Yeah. So I don't know.
Who have you got in that match, mate?
I can, man, and it's, I don't, if Todd Hutchings stops the match, I just don't see anybody at that weight beating Todd. But Todd's the only known quantity for me, so I'm not necessarily qualified to make a joke. But if I'm betting, if you said, hey, you got $10 to bet, I'm going to put it on Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you've experienced
Right.
as much practice table arm wrestling as you have with Todd, you're going to be really confident in him because you know
Right.
what he's capable of, and he is rock strong. Bloody interesting matchup, to be honest. I think one of the biggest factors for me is the whole losing a little bit of weight. I think Todd is walking around a little bit lighter now, and I really like Todd when he's a bit bigger.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed watching him pull the big lads. I think he's rock strong when he's a bit bigger, and I think it probably favours Zoloev a little bit just because of the fact that he can come up to that weight. Todd's having to go down to that weight.
Right. See, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are they pulling at? It's not 98.
97
right?
kilos, I believe.
97 kilos. So Todd, that's walk around weight for Todd.
Yes. Well, a little below it, isn't it? He was a little bigger, wasn't he?
97
13 pounds.
Yeah, no, I mean, like if Todd is not training for a match, like against the super heavyweight, the times that I see him, he's usually walking around at 215 or under 220, and he is a son of a bitch at that weight. Just the same. I think it's when he decides, all right, I'm going to be 250 to pull Devon. I think that's probably when he gets into total weirdo mode, but I don't think that there's that much of a difference. I think him sitting at that, I think that that's his sweet spot. Yeah. I think that like 210, 215, he's not destroying himself to get to it.
Yeah. I would have liked to, I'll be honest with you, mate, I would have liked to see, the old 225 class that was in WL?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Todd in that. The big Todd in that.
Yeah.
I think he
might win it.
He's right there, and he takes some big.
I mean, we look. I mean, he's beaten Marcio. He's beaten Matt. He's beaten Ron, and
lost to a bigger Devon. but it was a bigger Devon.
A bigger Devon. So that's what I'm saying. If if you have the walk-in, the Todd who cut 10 pounds and the Devon who cut 25.
Yeah.
It might be a different match.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's an interesting one. So I wanted to throw a little name into the hat here. What about Adrian O'Dwyer for you?
I love that match. I know people don't know him, but I followed him from the beginning, right when I started him doing all that weird, that gym he has and everything.
Yeah.
I watched him. The first time I saw him, first time I was in the building with him was 2017 at the WAL finals. He came to that one. I remember seeing it, the big gauges in his ears, like, who is that weirdo? You know what I mean? And I think he performed pretty well. And I was just pulling amateurs at that time. And then I tracked him the whole way through. I saw him pulling Zloty. Did he pull Worlds one time?
I believe he pulled in. Oh, no, he didn't. I don't think he did.
It might have been Zloty.
I don't think he pulled World, but he did. Yeah, he went over to Zloty.
Yeah,
and he stood up a few people.
Yeah, he beat Chris Myers, who's a guy I know, and he's a known quantity. So yeah, no, I think he's an impressive dude, and nobody really knows about him. But I like stylistically, that match is interesting to me.
It is to me. I think.
Can I hook him or no? You know what I mean?
Maybe like, I don't know, just under 220 pounds. I think that's a good weight for it.
Yeah, and he's tall, right? And he's real tall.
He's not ridiculous, but he's sort of. I would say 6'3", something like that.
Okay.
6'3".
He's a big guy.
Big guy. Yeah, and he's absolute athlete. I mean, former Olympian. We're going to get him on the show. A very interesting guy.
Yeah. What's the background on that? I remember hearing that. What was his event?
High jump, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he's a freak athlete. That's the other thing. I mean, like the stuff he does in the gym. I even communicated back and forth a little bit with him in the training group back in the day because he was doing all this elaborate stuff, and it was awesome.
Yeah, he's got great hand and wrist strength. He's an extremely strong lad. A little bit static just because he's lacked experience and he's lacked lads that can pull with him a lot. But he's got crazy potential. I mean, ridiculous potential. So I like that match a lot. I think it's really, really interesting. So hopefully, touch wood, at the Arnolds, if we could make that happen, that would be mega.
Right.
I would love to put that together. Matt Tickle my limits. Larratt to come in with another super chat. Thanks for that, mate. And he's put, Larry looked great on King of the Table right arm. And also, do you think Michael's confidence will struggle the more Devon shows confidence?
Why would it? Why?
Yeah,
this is still arm wrestling. Why?
The other interesting thing there is, I think the last time they met at the WAL, outwardly, Devon was brimming with confidence. I mean, brimming with it. The night before, there was I put some videos out at the time of those guys bantering the night before. And he was outwardly brimming. That differed from the night of the competition. The night of the competition, he was a little bit doubting himself. But it is. I think the answer to that, Matt, is both of these guys are unbelievably experienced, not only in the sport but with each other.
Yeah,
that's a key thing. So I don't think either one of them, certainly within the self, will believe that there's anything coming that they haven't felt before.
No,
from the other one.
Well, I think
it's impossible.
Devon's so good at getting in people's heads and playing the game, like lead up and everything else. And I don't think that Mike is susceptible to that. You know, Devon's still doing some of his stuff, and some of the videos are funny. They're really funny. But
let's be honest, he's been pretty.
Ryan disagrees.
No, he's not having it, is he? I think he's been pretty sedate, hasn't he? To be perfectly honest, up to now.
Yeah.
He's taken it. I wonder whether he's going to wind it up a bit, either when they get there in person or prior to the event, whether we're going to see a different approach.
He's done some funny stuff. I don't know if you watched all of his videos. He's done some funny stuff.
Where he's Michael and Rebecca.
Yeah. Oh, what that was funny. I mean,
yeah,
that was. They really went for that, didn't they? Tried to get Rebecca's accent down, and it was good. Turning it on. For Devon, I think he's been really benign at this point, and it'll be interesting to see what he does when they get out there. Whether he'll even go down that route, whether he'll try and wind Mike up, or whether he'll just leave it and try and be nice, because he's done that before and it's not necessarily worked out for him.
Right.
But I do think there's a different headspace from Devon this time. He seems like he's really got his act together. You know. Anybody change their opinion?
I'm sticking.
You've got Mike, haven't you?
I got Mike. Yeah, I do.
Ray, you got Mike, haven't you?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, Mike is not like that huge version, and that to me is like the X factor. Like Devon is enormous. Like, I think this is probably going to be the biggest Devon we see, and possibly one of the smaller versions of Mike. So that I think is the big X factor. And then, you know, how healthy are they?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. They both pull so much and they train so hard that there could be, you know, if there's any little tweaks or injuries that we don't know about, that really could be the deciding factor. But I don't know.
The really interesting thing for me on that, I mean, everybody, you know, I know that there's been a lot of fun out there about getting bigger and Way the Giant Pumpkin and just Devon having a massive head generally and being huge and all the, you know, the weight is worth this. And in a lot of strength sports, that can be the case. But to me, it's a lot more interesting that Mike has put on so much size and thickness in key areas. And I'm speaking about the hand and wrist. If you look at Mike's hand and wrist, it just looks thicker, bigger than it's ever been. And I wonder how much that's going to make a difference in the match. The way I see it, it's all about whether Devon can hold center. Because obviously he's got to work the rise. The most dangerous weapon for him, if he can hold the center, is getting to climb, so he can collect Mike in and get him close and go through to press. If he can't, if he can't hold center, I think he's in trouble. Because one thing I've noticed from Mike in training is the propensity or the willingness to use that press to come through with the press seems to be through the roof. And if Devon can't hold center and gets busted out, Mike's going to be in with the press early, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that could make it a pretty boring match, to be honest, if Devon can't hold the center. I was speaking to Devon on Friday, and Devon said that he felt like with common opponents that he pulled prior to last time he arm wrestled Mike, he's now just absolutely decimating those guys in training. So I think he feels really, really good about himself. And the other thing that makes it really interesting for me in this whole scenario is that Devon, being the analytical individual he is, he must have spent a great deal of time analysing what he did wrong last time. Yeah. And it's not like he doesn't have options. I think that if he has got enough power, if he's put enough power on to be able to prevent Mike from really driving him outside onto the B side and also turning him, if Mike can supinate him, keep him off the pronator, that press is coming and it's coming hard.
Right.
You know? Do you think it's going to be a battle, or do you think it's going to be a shit show and Mike runs him over?
No, it's 100% going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle.
Have you not met Michael Todd before?
The funny thing is with Mike, I mean, Mike said to me on the phone a few times.
He lied. I don't believe him. He said this to me too.
He says there's a gap and you're going to see, and I'm going to run through him and I'm going to smash him. But in reality, I always wonder whether he believes it.
He is really, you know, he is working on initiating for sure. He's training that, you know, from experience of being there. Like when he's structuring his training, like there's segments that he's doing that are just initiation, you know, he's doing ready goes a lot.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I kind of hope that, you know, he's healthy. You know, I think he trained really hard coming up for this. He trained with a lot of different people and he trained at a really high frequency. So I'm just hoping everybody's 100% healthy and we see the match that we want to see. But I think it's a war no matter what. Even I just think Devon's too smart to get ran over, you know.
I'd say what it is. If he does run Devon over, your hat's got to come off to Mike big time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because he'd have put on an enormous amount. Because I think Devon represents an enormous threat to Michael stylistically.
Yeah, I agree. Versatility.
Yeah, probably as bad as match as he could have picked for him.
Yep.
I think Michael beats guys that Devon can't necessarily beat.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. But I think for Michael specifically, Devon's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to translate, hopefully, touch wood, to an absolute friggin' screamer.
So if Devon beats Mike, where does that put him in the perceived conversation for, open weight top guys?
Well, the funny thing is, right, I've never bought into the sort of, Devon's not that good, really. He's pretty ordinary. He's not even in the top 10. I just don't get that at all. I never have. I don't get that at all. I think that Devon, on the right day, when he comes ready and focused, is a problem for 90% of guys. I think there are a few guys stylistically that are really causing problems. Probably most notably, in my opinion, would be Lachlan.
Yeah.
I actually think Vitaly Lachlan's a more difficult match for Devon than Levan, personally.
Yep.
Just because of the style.
Yep.
We'll see, won't we? But I believe that to be the case. I mean, people forget that King's move or no King's move, Devon put the brakes on Dave Chaffee. And Dave Chaffee's an extremely strong individual. Now I actually think that Levan Saginashvili is probably better technically than Dave Chaffee. But nevertheless, that illustrates to you how strong Devon is and how awkward Devon is. And it's where Devon is now. If he's changed his style and he's sharpened up his attack game, sharpened up the A side, that's really interesting. I'd love to see how he goes there. We've just had another super chat come in from Matt Tickle Limits. Larratt, when Big Daddy Jerry getting a match going? He's such a great guy to watch. Click that thumbs up, guys. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for your super chat, mate. Well, to be honest, I'm hoping that things opening up in the United States gives the opportunity for the WAL to kick things off again in 2022. I can't see that happening this year. There was obviously big news came out this week, wasn't it, about the PAL and them looking to do top 8 matches from July this year, I believe, guys. And I heard that Krasimir will be pulling Vitaly Lachlan. Now, yeah, who wants that match? Lachlan's a friggin' horrible guy to arm wrestle against.
Yeah.
Horrible guy to arm wrestle against. He really is. How do you see that one, Ray? Close? Not close.
No, I don't see it close. I think Lachlan is too much. Krasimir needs to have something else. He needs like a, I don't know, iron hand. Just to, clings. You cannot do that. You just cannot do that. I don't see it. Good day for Krasimir. Yeah, I love Krasimir. He's one of my favorites.
Great guy.
Yeah, it's not like because people always think that we're shitting on the other guy when we say like, yeah, this guy will win. No, I just don't think he will win. That's it. Yeah.
Has anybody seen? Hang on a minute. Let's just knock over this super chat real quick. Chris Gamo, thanks, mate. Thanks for your super chat. He's just put, how about Paul versus Jordan Sill? As a new fan of the sport, I'd love to see that. We need more US arm wrestlers going at it more often. Thanks, gents. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's an interesting match, actually. And I think it might have been Jason. I know Jason's in the chat, but when Jason came on the show on the Deep Inside, we were talking about that as well. And he was bigging you up, Paul. Merlo was bigging you up. He was saying that you're really serious. And you kind of, particularly on recent form, that is an interesting match. And if Jordan's going to come back to that there or thereabouts, that weight class, that's an interesting arm wrestling match without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
What's your next planned outing in the States, mate? Have you got anything lined up?
Not really. I mean, we have our Keystone State Championship coming up here on June 26th. Shameless plug, June 26th. Come to the Northeast. Hit me up if you're interested. The Keystone State Championship. So we got that one coming up. I'm going to be working.
You guys can get 15% off everything at poundforpoundarmwrestling.com. Just use the code Supernatural.
Talking about shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, mate.
Utterly shameless plug.
Yeah, so I really don't have anything, to be honest with you. I was just kind of waiting on seeing what we're going to do with, at the Arnold's coming up here.
Yep.
It's like you said, it's one of those things where just waiting to see what the next big thing is. But at this juncture, I'm like in a blackout period. Until I get moved into my new house, I am like doing no arm wrestling focus at all. Like I'm still training and everything, but I can't entertain any dates until I get this stuff squared away.
And has that been your doing, or has the little boss, your lady, said, "Motherfucker"?
I think
This is what you're doing.
probably more me. I had to get out. I mean, I like I said, I grew up in the city.
Ryan in chat. Ryan in chat.
What's he doing?
What?
Morning, gents. Married man. News in. Lachlan got pinned after about 45 defenses. Torben
Nice.
Pelican took the trophy.
Ryan Blue Bowen, mother fluffer.
Congratulations,
What are you doing?
Ryan. Congratulations.
First,
45
Ryan, yeah.
only. 45 only, Ryan. Come on, man. Who was the guy that beat him?
And did he get any footage of the 76 miles an hour from Lachlan in shiny shoes, in wedding shoes? No, mate,
Oh,
congratulations.
she's sending me a message.
So Engen's been raising money for this East-West versus West thing, and, you know, like, it's kind of based on that. I'm thinking of opening a side pressure school for children, and we've got Uncle John already signed up as the head coach, so it's looking good.
From his wedding bed, right there.
From his wedding bed, yeah.
No stains, absolute quality. Who we got here? Jeremy, just come in with a super chat. Let's get this one knocked over. In a war of a match, you guys think his conditioning will be a problem? Can only imagine there's a big difference being in shape and military shape. And I'm sure he's talking about Devon there.
Devon and Mike.
You've got to think that Devon's going for the top end strength approach in this instance. And he feels like he's not going to, because of the King's move thing, it's not going to come down to muscular strength. It's going to come down to him being strong enough to hold center, strong enough to climb. And if he can do that, he knows he can finish. And that's honestly what I expect that he will look to do. I think if he can get center, Devon's going to be all about the rise, and he's going to be just rising, climbing. And if he can get that, then he'll cut around and try to finish it. And I think he knows the blueprint to beat Michael Todd, but he's probably concerned about Michael's top end strength, where it is right now. What do you think, guys? Would you agree with that or disagree?
I mean, I agree. I don't think when it comes to like endurance, I don't think that one man has, you know, a distinctive edge over the other. The only thing that I think is a variable is with Mike. You know, once he gets into that King's move, if Devon's wrist goes, and Mike has said it multiple times with a lot of guys that he's pulled, that once he feels a little bit of give in the wrist, he usually takes control from there on out. And I think we kind of saw that in the first match where Devon committed to the flop wrist press early on in the match. And at that point, the wrist and any attacking out there was gone. So, I mean, it's not like, I mean, Jerry's proven that you can flop wrist press Mike.
Yeah.
But it is a long and arduous task to do it. And then you no longer have that option of back pressure and climbing once you've done it. You're going to be shot. So I don't think we're going to see Devon do that again right away. I would be very surprised if we do.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? We've just had Strength Old School in the chat, and he says, it's amazing how no one believes Devon can win. You know what, mate? I actually think that quite a few people do believe Devon can win.
You definitely can.
I'm just giving it an edge to Mike.
Yeah, I believe he can win 100%.
Yeah, I believe he can win 100%. Would it be a surprise if Devon won? No. No, it really would not be a surprise at all. He has got the original blueprint on how to beat Mike. As I said earlier, mate, that's why I've got to take my hat off to Michael, because Michael's kind of in a weird situation here if he wants to push for a match with Levan Saginashvili, you know, or just make that claim that he's the best in the world. Because, as the guy said a moment ago, Paul was saying, you know, if Devon wins, where does that put Devon in the whole conversation? And that's just indicative of the fact that, yeah, he's in it. And he's in it, mate.
Well, that's kind of the problem. Like what you're talking about is everybody keeps talking about like Mike and Levan, you know, and what, you know, there's still kind of like a loose argument about 1 and 2 there, whether it's the case or not. So, you know, and yet Mike has Devon covered up. So is that going to shift? Like if Devon wins, do we now say Devon and Levan, or are people not going to respect that claim? That's kind of what I was getting at. Like, I wonder what the general public, and once again, I think a majority of like arm wrestling fans and people who are commenting on this stuff are from North America. And I think that it can be kind of skewed, that we favor our guy, you know, but the reality of it is Levan's the clear number one. But where does Devon fall in? And nobody's really talking about that.
Yeah, I kind of think that if the top 8 season gets underway again, that sort of ices everything in that respect. I've got to be honest. I do believe that will ice any of those big match potentials, because when we had Levan on the show, he was saying if the top 8 does not get going again this year, and if I'm not in action, then I'd look to pull in September. But you can only imagine that the lads from top 8, Igor and Carol, will have heard that loud and clear. And has anybody heard anything about that? Incidentally, I haven't. But has anybody heard about Chafee and Levan? Is there anything planned in July? I mean,
well, it could happen because now you can kind of travel, you know. So
yeah,
wouldn't be that hard to make.
Because you'd figure that'd be like top of the friggin' agenda, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you were coming
what
back,
are we? May, June, July? Well, I don't think so, because we should have heard about it.
Unless they've already spoken to Dave and spoken to Levan, but not put it out there. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man.
I don't think you know what I'm saying, but I wonder whether that would be or where that would be, where they could do it. Are you guys in the States able to travel pretty much anywhere, Paul, or not?
I think so.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it in recent weeks, but I think we can. I think that there may be instances of quarantine, but I'm not familiar because I haven't really looked into it.
Well, it made me think about it because of obviously the East versus West thing, where you've got Katowski, Todd, traveling over there. Katowski's in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
And he's going over to Turkey.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin's pretty good. I don't think they're one of the states that haven't had a huge impact. I was in Utah, like, you know, a couple of weeks back and everything, and Utah's like no mask, no nothing. You know, same with Texas.
So, what are the areas in the States now where it's really closed down, or are there not many left?
Not many. I mean, they're like the political stuff going on now is, you know, are we wearing masks or are we not wearing masks, and how many, what percentage vaccination do we need to get to not wear masks? So I think we're kind of phasing into, and I know, you know, how it's being handled, like at the high school level, like when they get, it takes 6 cases in the high school now before they shut down for 3 days. So it's not 1 case in 3 weeks or something now. So people we're gradually moving in the right direction, I think.
Yeah. Well, I would expect, and I might be talking complete bollocks, I haven't actually had any confirmation on this, guys, but I would expect that one of the first matches out there will be Levan back in action against someone, and the obvious choice would be Dave Chafee, wouldn't it? Because that was the match that was going to take place before. The only thing I'd heard anything about was Latvian, and I think it may have been on his channel, was Latvian versus Krasi. I haven't heard anything else about official matchups and who was going to pull who. But yeah, who've you got in Levan and Dave anyway? Do you think that's an easy match, or?
I don't know. I mean, I think stylistically it's not a great match for Dave. I don't know. I mean, maybe if he can contain Levan a little bit, stay flat wristed, I think that there could be something there. But we've yet to see Dave since his injury, like, come back to something really dominant. Now that might be because of his opponents, you know, Michael and Devon might have. So I wonder how all of that plays in. So what is his confidence level, and where is he at physically? I know that the guys up there training with him, Bart and everything, say that he's in really, really good form. But let's be serious. If I go pull with Dave, he's going to feel like the same brick wall as he felt like on his worst day. So I don't know if I can gauge it, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll be rooting for him.
I do feel like that's one of the major benefits over for Levan, because the team that's around him is just a bunch of friggin' beasts, you know.
Yeah.
So when you're training, the old iron sharpens iron thing, if there's any truth in that at all, then that he should be pretty frigging sharp, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because what a training room that is. Oh my God. Having said that, big news from the US over the weekend. Brandon Ellsesser, the bigger green Mohican sporting Brandon, got a big few wins, didn't he? Tell us about that, Paul.
He dominated. He dominated. Like, that was the 100% most impressive version of him on a given day that I've ever seen. And let's be serious. Like, in all reality, Brandon's a really good puller. He has wins on a lot of guys. He is a very overlooked puller. A lot of that can be because he'll take a match with anybody and sometimes he'll lose, or he'll have a bad day because he pulled every class and then he lost to somebody in some weird class. But this was not that day. He was in a 3-man round robin with Mike Aiello and Paul Passmore right arm. And he beat Mike. I think Mike was the first match that he had. He beat Mike. He took his hand outside the straps and Mike hung on to him and he pinned him without the strap. And then he beat Paul, I think, in the strap. But, and both of those were like wars. And then he winds up going on through the class or whatever and pulling Zaza from Georgia in the overall and beating him right arm. And then in the left-handed overall, he gives Sean Latimer an absolute war to the limit. So, it pulls him without his hand and Sean can't pin him. It was just, he looked really, really good. And he needs a little bit of recognition for what he's been doing. Ryan approves.
He approved of that. He definitely approved of that. So, John Mama, come in with the super chat. Neil, we need to know, does the biggest match of the year get you announcing? Will you be in Dubai? Okay, I will not be going to Dubai, guys. I'm not going to be going over there. And I am gutted. I can't even tell you. I feel like going outside and shutting my dick in the car door. I am just gutted that that's the case because I really, really wanted to be there. Unfortunately, we're in a situation now in the UK where we are not able to travel without having to do serious quarantine over here, and I simply cannot justify it and can't make that happen. So I will not be going to Dubai. That's all I can say right now. I will not be going to Dubai.
So guys, you can get 15% off everything at poundforpoundarmwrestling.com. Just use the code SUPERNATURAL.
I don't know why that's so funny. That's hilarious to me.
He even goes for it. He goes for it, doesn't he? He throws it down.
I hope he sells like 20 items off of that. That would be amazing. He's gonna have. We'll get the text message tomorrow. Oh, the site was lighting up.
I miss him.
No, I know, Ryan. I don't know.
So we were talking about Brandon Ellsesser. What one of the things that's quite weird about the whole COVID situation, right, is we've seen a number of random guys, and we keep having the same frigging conversation with guys like Jerome Loud, Jordan Sill, and then another one pops up, and another one pops up. Early in COVID, it was all about Dan Mosier. Yeah. He was the dude, What's going on?
Well, Jerome beat Dan, so it's what have you done for me lately, even though it was an overall. Now all of a sudden we're not talking as much about Dan. But I really think that comes down to Dan was pretty darn active during COVID. Mm-hmm. And I think things are starting to speed back up. And I think you're right, like Robbie Russell, Jerome Loud, Brandon Ellsesser, these are guys, Jason Merlot, like these guys are the real deal, So I think that they're finally, some of them made good use of their time during COVID, and I think they're getting recognized, and rightfully so, all of them.
Do you think that Brandon is better, bigger?
I don't know.
Has he been cutting weight too hard? Is that what it is? I
pulled Brandon a few years back at the Dave Chafee Classic in a best of 5, and he was big then. And he told me my strategy against you is just be as big as I can. Mm-hmm. And I won that match And I've pulled him since at lighter weights, you know, in tournaments and in practice for hours, you know. And honestly, I feel like the 205, 210 version of him at times was just as good, if not better. So I know, and some days he'll walk in at like 205, like Rob does, and look immense and shredded. And
no legs.
Like I said, no lower body.
No legs.
No lower body at all.
No legs. Yeah, and he's huge, like 20-inch arms.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
mate, he's ripped to the bone, isn't he?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I have never seen him at 225, which I think is where he was at. And so I don't know. I know he's got a good training camp now. He's got Dustin Jelliff, who's another Pennsylvania guy who is really good also, and nobody talks about. And he and Dustin and a couple other guys up there are training in like a 4-man group where they really go hard. And I think they live together. They have, I think your camp is really important, who you're working with. And I think that Brandon is really benefiting from that.
Yeah.
And he's willing to travel to practice. Like he'll hit me up and be like, all right, I want to make a trip down. You know, I want to work on some stuff. And he'll go around.
He is that guy, isn't he? He's been super active over the years, and he deserves, you know, he deserves his moment in the sun. So it is nice if there's a lot of noise made about this, and it gets him some love, you know, because he's one of those lads that's banged away. We just had a super chat in from my mate James Statham, great guy. You're not the only one gutted that you're not going, buddy. Yet I really am. But it's a travesty you won't be there. Well, it's ironic, isn't it, James? You're going to be coming out there with me. So one of those things, mate. Everything happens for a reason, you know. Everything happens for a reason.
I just saw a comment, like, you know, something about Travis announcing, and then is Travis and Gary not doing their podcast anymore? Someone, I'm like, Beauty and the Beast or what?
Yeah, will it come back? I'm sure it will. I think I won't put it past Travis and Gary to have something set up around that, you know. Where Travis
I just thought maybe it's because Travis didn't have his back when he wanted to fight.
Did something happen? Did something happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I just, you know.
I know Travis went on Gary's show, didn't he, and dressed him down. I was talking to Uncle John, and he told me that.
Yeah, but he does it every time. I tune in to watch that. You know what I mean? That's pretty standard. You know? Yeah,
to be fair, it is. But knowing Travis might have just drifted out of the scene for a bit, and then he'll come back.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool.
I don't think
if someone knows, just, you know, yeah.
I'll be amazed if in a couple of weeks' time, a month's time, Beauty and the Beast isn't back on, and I hope it is, because I know I'm not the only one who thought that was a great show. Travis, I laugh my ass off. You know, some funny. I mean, he's just funny bastard. He really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jared, thanks for your super chat, mate. And he's just put my money's on Devon. Neil, I wish you were going out there. And he's put to comment the live match. Well, I won't be going out there. Let's just say that. Though Larry Wheels is strong, I truly think the experience of Schoolboy will win. Desperation Pinocchio. Mate, thanks for your super chat. I am with you 100%. I think, listen, it'd be beyond positive if Larry Wheels won that match, right? It would be beyond positive.
Guys, hey, I love both Alexes. You know, I love them. I think Larry's winning the match. Like,
you've got Larry, have you?
Yes, and not because I want Schoolboy to lose, but because I think Larry's going to win. I think Larry's going to win. I really do.
I've got Schoolboy. I've got Schoolboy, but I just think it's a big ask. I friggin' love Larry Wheels to win. I would love Larry Wheels to win. You know,
if Larry can, if what Ray's saying and Larry's connecting everything in the straps, Larry can win.
The funny part is Larry doesn't need straps. That's the funny part. And straps, it's like levels.
Do you think you think he's got past the holding on to people stage, Ray?
Yeah. Because
so you don't think it can be
we've been just working on stuff that he needs. I'm like, we're not doing anything that he doesn't need. Like most of the arm wrestling training, you're still doing general things. Like we don't need general things. We just need stuff that will make Larry win the match. And everything is connecting. Everything's coming fine. It's most will be The only thing right now that bothers me is, will he not get in those traps? You know, like good armors, good top rolls will set up those traps where they hit your hand pretty hard.
Yeah.
And if you watch the first matches he had, he always follows them. He's like climbing with them and, you know, trying to hold on. He's not doing that anymore, not even a little. And just
what about
like
endurance, Ray?
Yeah.
Is he blowing up because of the size, or can he go for a while? Has he got good endurance in the
Oh
arm?
no, he has amazing endurance. Like we had king of the table, like he pulled like at least 10 minutes straight. Then I set him up with a lot of different guys because I'm doing everything in a practice. I will say, you will pull this guy, and I will tell the guy what he needs to try to do, because I know how everyone arm wrestles there. So they're going real hard on him. And then we'll get some guys that like elbow never is on a pad, and Larry's gonna elbow is not on a pad. I'm like, I don't care, just, you know. So he gets those situations, and he still destroyed me. And I didn't feel anyone at the practice. Like I arm wrestle everyone, you know, in between. I'm like, I'm there and there, and I don't feel anyone. I can do whatever I want. Nothing. I had zero. So his endurance is there, and it's always been there. He recovers super fast, and like so some of the training, we're really focusing on containment on the fingers. And if this is working really well, your arm's not gonna get pumped and blown out. No. Because if usually guys will train something else, and when they get enough hits here, you know, the forearm will blow up, and you're like, I cannot hold on to everything. Now, past week, he didn't say anything. Like first week, he's like, I cannot close my arm after, you know, arm wrestling a few times. He's like, I just cannot arm. Nothing, zero. So we're just doing stuff that he needs. I really believe, I just don't know how strong Schoolboy is, but this is by far the best version of Larry Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go on, Paul.
I like what Ray's saying right now is is really what makes me think he's gonna win the match, because look at the camp he has set up. You know what I mean? We know who Larry's training with. We know all the names who's coming in. We know all the different stuff, like the different people he's working with. We don't know anything about Schoolboy. I saw like one training video, and we know how he trains. He knows how to train for arm wrestling. Who is he lifting with? Who is he on the table with? Like, or was it that one video, what he's doing? We know what Larry's doing, and we know Larry's learning how to arm wrestle, and we know Larry's physically stronger. So maybe my logic's off, but I think he's going to win.
My biggest concerns for him are the lack of real match experience, because I do think practice table arm wrestling, there's a mental approach to it. There's a pace.
Yeah, but that's Larry Wheels. It's very hard, Neil. When you will see it, you will believe, because it's very hard to describe this man. He's not even human. I don't like. He's one of seven. Yeah. He will get better at everything we're doing in between sets. Better. He will figure stuff out super fast. Like I have never seen anyone just not. It's not just physical abilities. It's also here. And then I say, today we hit ready goes. We had ready go practice. He hits just as fast as I hit with my right arm. So, and my right arm isn't that bad. My left is much faster, but it's because of the style. He hits just as fast. His reaction time is right there, and he's strong. For what Paul said, if Schoolboy is expecting to face the same Larry Wheels with the same technique he faced, he will lose for sure, just because it's a different arm wrestle with different technique. And the thing is, if you never arm wrestle Larry, you kind of cannot figure out, what do I do here? Because everything is different. Like you will see this when after the match, doesn't matter, with Larratt and Mike and whoever is going to be here, because they're like, you're different. You know, 100 million%.
Yeah, so I think the only way, well, I mean, I say the only way, but I think that the way that Larry could be exposed is going to be in the setup. And if Larry is aggressive in the setup and knows what he needs to gain, protect, or what component he wants to go after, I like his chances. If he loses, I see him losing in the setup. because of lack of experience in
I agree.
an aggressive setup.
Yeah.
I can see him losing anywhere in the match because of inexperience.
Yeah,
Anywhere in the match.
Let's
because
be
it's not
serious.
been in real live arm wrestling scenarios, and I think it's different. We'll see, but that's
exactly. We'll see. I'm super excited. I can't wait, guys.
Yeah. I actually think this is just like whether it's as important or as Devon and Michael. To me, it's almost as interesting because it's the can you take a bodybuilder and in 2 years make him an arm wrestler? And the general consensus in the arm wrestling community, most arm wrestlers don't want to see a muscle bound guy win at arm wrestling, and that is exactly what Alex has really capitalized on with the Schoolboy thing. Put him, let's go to Times Square or whatever and have a bunch of meatheads arm wrestle this dude and get cracked. Mm-hmm. So we want to see the underdog win. We want to see like the non-bulky looking dude win. And for a long time, how many bodybuilders come to an arm wrestling practice and get smoked? And arm wrestlers, I feel like, start to think that is just the way it is. Like if you learn to arm wrestle, that there is not going to be a guy that's going to show up in here and beat you. And I can tell you that there are a bunch of guys out there that will show up to a practice and smoke everybody. It maybe based off of one singular component. But if Larry is training everything with his skill set, he's definitely.
See, for me personally, I never associate Larry as a bodybuilder. Although I know that's foolish, and I should, because man looks like he couldn't be in a better shape, could he? But I always petition him and classify him as a power lifter stroke elite strength athlete. The man is a weirdo. He's extremely athletic. He's explosive as hell. I'm not worried about his power. Right. I never have been. And I do believe that I think anything he dedicates his mind on, he's probably going to do extremely well at in the long run, because attitudinally, I've not seen anybody better, really. He looks exceptional in that respect. He looks unflappable. We know he's up for any challenge. It's purely and simply the lack of experience and natural arm wrestling time. And I think that arm wrestling is such a reactive sport. It's almost like somebody throws an orange at you and you don't have to think about it. You just catch it because you've done it all your life. And it's that natural instinct, the natural movement. And that's where I feel like Schoolboy, if he can expose anything, can set Larry up to make mistakes. And Larry's natural body instinct won't be there at the level it may need to be there if it's close in strength. He'd have to be a much, much, much stronger individual in those key areas. He's got the potential to do that, I'm sure, but Schoolboy's a very big man. I think
Larry is stronger in every area. However,
physically stronger, yeah.
No. In arm wrestling moves too. I'm just the problem is you haven't accessed them. Yeah. And when you see when someone comes into our sport and however he is, he can gain lift same weights and same movements that most arm wrestlers do. Goes on table, just cannot do it. Most of the times they're just slow. Mm-hmm. Larry is not slow. Like the first match, if you think he was slow on the first match, that would be the same thing if I would try to top roll someone and then I would try to press him. Those are two different speed levels for me, because one is just going in my strength and the other one is not going in my strength. So those are the differences. Yeah. So I of course, I'm 100% with you, Neil. I'm terrified of the setup. I would be like, can you let me get the setup and then you just jump in? But we'll see. But Larry has all the gifts, and I believe, like he said, #1 in North America. I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah, that's up for grabs too.
You said
he's 100% here. He's 100% to stay.
You said he's learning fast too. I think the advantage.
Yeah, it's still a long after this match, he will at least figure how to deal with this type of arm wrestler. Then you need someone who's either presser or inside puller. So then he has more, and then next one, because he's already thinking about, because it's a challenge for him, and he's a real competitor, and you will see it. You really will see it, because when you when you go to tournament and you take someone's arm and and you're just trying to get something you cannot get, you have zero confidence in yourself. But when you learn how to manipulate the arm, the setup is free. You're like, okay, even though I might lose, I have better confidence. And looking back at that match, you can see that, how terrified he was versus Schoolboy, where he cannot just get anything, because he's doing all the wrong things, And now it looks better. Plus, the rules are kind of fine for us. We can get strapped in 30 seconds or we can slip.
What is the rules?
So they will use 3 foul system. Okay. Like you said, arm wars. What else?
So that kind of weirds me out because it can't, 3 foul system can't be arm wars.
Yeah, well, they will use running foul system with 3 foul system.
Okay, so they're like using a bastardized arm wars in terms of they're going to try the same infraction levels, so small infractions for runners, and so on, but with 3 fouls rather.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can accumulate your fouls as well. So it's not just one elbow, 2 elbow, you lose, you have the third one too. Because it wouldn't make sense if you can just give up. But everything else looks fine for us, and he's a different dude. I'm very happy. I'm very because he learns so fast, and that's that competitiveness in him. I said I have never met anyone like him, like 100%, just 100%. And when we're training, he's 100% dedicated to it. We'll stay hour longer and just work on setups. And he's like, what happens here? What's going on here? What this style, that style. And that happened like the last time, like when I was talking, like he didn't understand most of the things I'm saying because he just didn't have the vocabulary of arm wrestling. Now he has it. I'm like, through the riser to the small pinky, things like that, and he will understand instantaneously. So it's better to control him from the far, also. Let
me ask you this.
Sorry, go.
So like obviously when they pulled the first time, it was kind of like for fun, Larry wasn't serious. Like there was no it was no real. You didn't feel any concern of winning or losing from Larry. Is there going to be a mentality shift in this? Does he genuinely want to send a message?
Oh, he wants to destroy.
That's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me in this.
Larry comes to me. He's like, can I use a belt? I'm like, well, this is your tournament. You can do what you want. He's like, I'm more connected when I use belt. I'm like, show it to me. He gets belt. He puts on a belt and he is more connected, like crazy more connected. He's like, yeah, because I can engage my core and I can attack I'm like, dude, you should do it. So he thinks outside all the time, and he really wants to win. We're talking about some other guys that he will face eventually down the road because he wants to get this.
Have you guys talked about sort of like plotting not a career path, because obviously it's early days, but frequency of competition and where is he going to look at? Is he going to look at doing?
He's going to do more events if and most likely if he's successful. Right? Like the next events are going to be much bigger with much more matches, I believe, right here. Yeah, because it's pretty good and easy to do it here.
But super match, it would always be one-on-one super match competition rather than
at least for some because we were talking. I said, well, I will go there and I will go there, and maybe you want to come to do a tournament. He's like, yeah.
He needs tournaments, though. He needs tournaments to feel everybody else's setup. He needs to get to a tournament with a good amount of guys that he can compete with and beat. Yeah. And maybe 1 or 2 really good guys, and he needs to work his way to them and get that experience. Supermax is great, but you're only grabbing that one guy.
You will learn much faster in tournaments. Much faster in tournaments.
I couldn't agree more. I think
you will develop special skills when preparing for Supermatch.
I think if he went out and just banged away at a few tournaments just for training purpose, nothing more than that, screw the result.
No expectation.
Just go and baptize yourself. Get your head wet.
Yeah. Just go to the tournament and win the setup. Go to the tournament and try whatever different moves you want. Pick and choose where you're going to do it and execute it. On and go.
Remember, he's still YouTube personality. He wants that good content, so he can schedule a match that would be interesting for some. Because he said like one of the goals would be like high celebrity match. He would want to either arm wrestle or get on a card like A-list celebrities. He's like, that's the point. He's like, if arm wrestling goes where we want it to go, that would be the end goal. And he said then arm wrestling would explode like MMA. And I'm like, how can you not be on Team Larry if that's what Larry wants? That's what Larry wants for us, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's the dream, guys. I mean, look, I think it's funny, everybody's saying, I was listening to Gary and John the other day on the show, and they were talking about, you know, all the leagues are dead or whatever, and you can do it this way. I don't believe that necessarily needs to be the case. I think there's different formats of arm wrestling. There always has been. And I think this is just another different connotation of the same thing, you know. The YouTube and celebrity arm wrestling matches serves a purpose. It brings eyeballs to the sport, you know. Eyeballs to the sport, and that's all it does. But it's super positive, because if you're getting millions of people, new fans tuning in and understanding arm wrestling and seeing that, well, hang on a minute, you can pick this up. The crossover potential's ridiculous. You know, what other friggin' monsters can come from that area in that environment? You start to think about it. Some of the absolute weirdos that are out there.
Yeah.
A lot of arm wrestlers don't want that.
I
CJ
think
CJ Twine and I always talk about it. There's a lot of arm wrestlers who don't want athletes involved in arm wrestling. And when we say athletes, like somebody who comes from a skilled background in something, I think is a major advantage, because they've been coached. They've been coached. They have mind-muscle connection. They have coordination. They have dexterity. They have things of that nature. And if they put their emphasis coming from a different background on that, a lot of times you see a unique mix of different ability levels too. So Larry's an athlete. Like you said, Neil, you never saw him as a bodybuilder or a strongman or whatever. I don't either. I see him as an athlete, an elite athlete. Yeah. Which is why I think that his trajectory, if he is taking it seriously, which he clearly is going to be like, you know, and there's plenty of other guys out there who could do the same thing, as much as we don't want to believe it, you know?
So like what Paul said, I completely agree. That was my belief. I'm like, no bodybuilder can do this. Yeah. And like, okay, this is my experience, but I feel like it's true because I see it happening right in front of my eyes. But we have seen a lot of guys coming into our sport, like strength guys. I will not name any names, but they kind of come in, the arm wrestling looks bad. They super strong. They try it, you know, they go away and nothing really happens. But they spend like a lot of time in the sport, like 2-3 years sometimes, and still nothing. I'll say how it is. It's shitty coaching. I'm 100% with that. Like
I agree.
Like if you look, when I came to Dubai, I didn't allow Larry to look bad on table. Like, my bad. That means opening up and do things. Mm-hmm. I was really like, you know, I'm being that bad coach sometimes, but I'm like, you know, this is shit. You know, you need to figure this stuff out. A lot of people are still like, we're buddies and we're gonna, you know, you arm wrestle how you want and you great, you're so strong, you're gonna be the best. And that's not what they need. They need real coaching. And I'm very sad. Like, good example is Scott Mendelson. He came into the sport with all the strength in the world, with all the tendon strength in the world. Like that guy should do great. Look at his technique. You're like, oh, terrible. That's all he needed. He doesn't need to lift weights, you know, doesn't need to do it at all, or doesn't need to do half of the motions he was doing. He was just needed to be coached on table, like someone hitting him every time he does something incorrect. And we see this time and time after again. And then comes athlete like Larry, who understands, like, well, you have to put in technique work and then you get the results, you know? And I believe a lot of people will take this example and they will like, okay, I need to figure out technique, because strength I already have. It's just about accessing strength. And the same thing goes about saying, like, arm wrestling lifts. Yeah, I can lift still on some lifts more than Larry, but he will go beyond me in 2 weeks. That's how much he needs, because his muscles are so many times stronger than mine. Just I cannot reach that potential ever, you know. So to say that these athletes are, no, they just haven't trained for it. And when, even if they train for it, they still, like, this is the great discussion, strength versus technique. When you have the strength, you need technique. And when you don't, when you have technique, you need strength. So just figure out which part of the scale you are and do that.
Mate, we even see that. I'm gonna say we even see that prominent in, never mind people transitioning across. You see that with guys that are arm wrestlers. Just giant weirdos that come to the sport, not from any other area, not Larry Wheels, just a giant weirdo. And they still don't get coached well. They still don't get broken down into the disparate elements. And you've just seen the same super chat that I was laughing at from
60 seconds later.
It's funny. I'm not going to name any names. And then Scott Mendelson's a wanker.
No, but because I wanted him to succeed. He's my bench press bro. He's my bench press bro. I wanted him to succeed. I was like, dude, don't waste time with doing, like, just practice on table.
Maybe but the thing is, though, maybe Scott sees this happening with Larry and thinks, maybe I just need another approach. You know, the sets go around. Maybe, you know. I've always said to Eddie, if Eddie ever took the sport seriously and wanted to take the sport seriously, we could make him a bad man. It's just,
I think Eddie and Thor is somewhere down the road.
Mate, I would love it. I would love it.
I really believe, like, they will not want to get hit in the head too much. They will, like, how about we arm wrestle? Mate, so Eddie's going to call you and Thor is going to call me.
Yeah. For a £1 million, I'll fight
for us. Yeah.
We'll set you and Bowen up for £1 million apiece. Right, you know, for £1 million, I'll fight anybody for £1 million. That's a lot of money. That's worth taking ass whippings for a hell of less than that.
Yeah, a concussion. One more won't hurt me.
I've had made stoved in outside of nightclubs by teams of dudes for a hell of a lot. £1 million. I'd let them do it for £1 million. It'd be like, break my nose again.
Easy. Yeah.
But joking aside, there are other guys. I mean, I've talked to Mark Felix before we went into the whole COVID thing. I'd love to get Mark on the table. I mean, Mark's obviously coming to the end of his career anyway. You never know. Maybe he could show up and be another Ron Bass, 175-year-old monster. They're there. But it was interesting. There was a super chat. I couldn't see who it was from. Not a super chat, just in the chat. One of the lads said, oh, yeah, I agree with Paul. If all the athletes came from other areas, the arm wrestling scene would be... Well, the interesting thing is I don't think it would be. What I think it would be, that guys at the lower level would suddenly realize that there are levels, you know? Because if you went to a big tournament in Russia, you'd get it. Trust me. And I'm not being pro-European, but there's a difference.
Yeah.
The depth of talent.
Yeah.
You went to a standard big tournament in Kazakhstan, in Georgia, you'd get it.
Well, again, I think it's the approach though. So like most of those guys are training arm wrestling from day one. They're not coming from another background. So like they might be just really good athletes that started arm wrestling really young. So like when you have that, you have the perfect storm. Yeah. Like when you have a guy who is an athlete but finds arm wrestling as his sport without a prior background in other athletics, you're gonna have a super weirdo.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we don't have that here. It's like, you know, I mean, it's starting to happen, but it's not accessible to kids really.
I want more super weirdos. Finding the super weirdos to me is I friggin' that's exciting. I like it when that freak weirdo nut job shows up that just has got it all ticked in whatever area. You know, the more of those you get, that breeds exciting arm wrestling matches. That whole scenario of having a guy who you look at and you think, oh, is anybody beating this dude?
Yep.
And then you find three more that you think, nobody can beat this guy. So you're off. That's real, you know, for me.
Yeah, but look, I mean, But look what happens in all sports. You know, like you start talking about track and field numbers over the years, the bar always gets raised. And the more mainstream things become, like you can look back at track and field, you can talk about Jim Thorpe running in barefoot and everything else. And the stuff that they did back then was super amazing. But with technology and training and advancement, the bar continues to get raised. The silhouette for football, like the general silhouette to be recruited and play at Division I level or play at the pro level, just keeps getting bigger. And not only does it get bigger, but it gets faster and stronger and more explosive. And arm wrestling, I think, is at a point right now where we might be hitting that bar is getting raised.
Hopefully.
Well, certainly
that's all
things
I
like
hope.
this, that should inject the venom into the game, you know. Things like this, people start seeing this. I mean, it's brilliant. It's perfect. Daniel Uric just come in with a super chat for you, Ray. He just put, Ray, can you get me a super match in Dubai against whoever mops the gym floor over there? Be my best shot. Ray's got you covered, dude. He'll work on that.
There's one dude, whenever Larry is filming a video, he will get to the background and start cleaning the floor.
Guy, Daniel. That's your guy, mate. That's the guy. We'll get him on it. Let's have a look at the chat. I haven't had a look at the chat if there's any good questions come in. Has anybody been keeping an eye on the chat? Because I have not been keeping my eye on the chat at all. Hey, Paul, have you spoken to Travis recently?
No, not in a couple of weeks. Not in a couple of weeks.
When I'm on to Devon, we're talking about opportunity. Hey, up. No, he's not having it. We were talking about opportunities for Travis Bajan and if he came back into the sport. And we both got to sort of the same opinion on it, that maybe Travis isn't as focused on the sport of arm wrestling anymore. Maybe he's sort of like, and I haven't spoken to him.
Okay, so Travis is focused on making money. Travis is feeding his family for a long time based on arm wrestling promotions. And his latest round of arm wrestling promotions has been the seminar series, where he's going around and doing seminars and having like an open weight bracket, and you know, you pay this much, you get 1 day of a seminar and then 1 day of a tournament or whatever the case may be. And I don't know if that's run its course, but I do know that I think Travis has made some business connections outside of arm wrestling. So I think he's on a couple of little business endeavors. He will come back, because I think Travis is that guy who, if he can make, you know, $2,000 on a weekend by hosting a tournament, he's 100% happy with that. Yeah. He can walk away with $2,000 cash in his pocket from announcing and running a bracket for 6 hours. He's living his best life. So he'll be doing that for sure. But I think he might have some irons on the fire right now that might be a little hotter. So.
Yeah, because there's a number of guys I'd still like to see Travis pull, you know. Yeah, I really would. And the other one that interested me the other day was there was something came up. Matt Mask, somebody asked Matt Mask a question. And they said, after you're done with Hermes, is there anybody you'd like to get involved with domestically? Any guys that you'd like to sort of beat up on or set the record straight? And up pops the name of Ryan Espy. Yeah. And Matt was sort of like, yeah, I'd like to smack him about just so I set the record straight and shut his mouth. And I actually would like to see that.
I do too. I
actually would like to see that.
I watch a lot of what Ryan does too, and he's got some opinions on that topic too, I think. So, yeah, I think that would be a good kind of semi-heated match. You know, Matt's going to get fired up regardless of who it is. But if there's maybe some actual tension, it could be even more interesting.
It could be closer than people think as well.
That would be one I'd like to see in WAL if and when they come back here. You know, that would be a good one for WAL. I would like to see it under that setting, under that spotlight.
Yeah. It's funny. I always think that Ryan is one of those guys, for whatever reason, that just gets underrated.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of the guy.
Yeah, he gets overlooked bad. People will be like, oh, it's like he's not there. They think, and he's a bad man. He's got men. Yeah. You know? I mean, look at Cody Merritt now on the left. Cody kicking the shit out of people, right?
Can we talk about that? He, you know, the broken arm, Robbie Topi and everything else. And, you know, he pulled Robbie Topi in that tournament that just happened. Smoked him. Smoked him.
Robbie Topi.
0. He just got his arm broken. They basically said like, we don't know how. I remember I asked him like, how long does it? He's like, I don't know. And then he sends me a video with him and Jordan Steele like about 3 weeks ago. I'm like, dude.
When I was out there, when I pulled with those guys out there, literally he was not cleared to pull left arm yet. At the end of the practice, he was like, can we just grip up a little bit left arm and do a little bit static back and static side? And you know, like when you haven't been using anything for a while, like you take time off, you know, like when you do anything static, you feel that shaking. Like he was still in that phase where he couldn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. And now here we are. I don't know, what was that? 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Like, what are we talking about here? And now he just smoked a guy who broke his arm.
Yeah. Can't have been more than 2 months anyway.
That's what I mean. I mean, I'm at a loss. Even still, if it's 8 weeks, wow.
Yeah. It's still mega. It's still mega.
Inspiration, just inspiration. That man, psycho.
Those guys out there in Utah are going hard, though. And Craig is out there, and they go hard.
Yeah, what about Cody West? He's coming back. I was watching Cody West bench pressing the other week. He's not been 2 minutes out of frigging surgery.
Yeah, he was in the same boat. He was in the same boat, left arm, when I was down there too, where he was like, I'm not cleared to pull yet, but let's just do a little bit of static stuff, and bam, right back. Mm-hmm. And I think I know Corey took it like he's more motivated. You know, he's treating it as motivation. So I think they both did.
Is Cody Merritt the best lefty now in your opinion, with the current situation with Travis? Oh, we just got Joe Mama coming with a super chat there as well. What's that? Was a Travis fan for decades. Travis says arm wrestling fans, so it's Travis. Yeah, I don't think Travis for 1 minute actually thinks arm wrestling fans. I think Travis likes to say stuff like that, mate, just to get himself in the spotlight and just to like people. He wants to be the bad guy. He's comfortable being the heel. Yeah, he is.
He's a heel.
He's comfortable being the heel, and he'll say stuff like that literally just to piss people off.
I think Cody Merritt versus Brian Espy would be a good match, lefty.
That is
the point I was making earlier about he has a winning record on Cody.
That is the
mother fluffer on the left.
That's the only match for Cody. That's the only match. If Cody is back where he was, that's the only match for him right now. I think that makes sense. Aside from Travis, if he's training.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'd actually like to see Devon Larratt pull Ryan Espy left.
Oh, isn't he he's doing a giant pumpkin thing? He's like,
he's got
his left arm in a sling or something.
He always talks about his left being serious at the moment.
Yeah. I'm just joking. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it.
I would. I'd like to see that match. I really would, because I know he's not been training it, but he's very confident that his left's come on and his left's looking really good. And obviously Ryan Espy's left is serious. So that would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
For sure. He could pull, Espy could pull Matt Mask on the right arm, Devon on the left. Get them done. Get it done. Let's go.
That'd be nice.
Let's get it
Canada
done.
Canada versus Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a decisive who's who of Canadian arm wrestling.
I have a background already prepared.
Yay! It's right there, mother fluffer. You can see it. So, while we're talking about Canada, right? Another lad that seems to have come on leaps and bounds recently is Brendan Lemon.
Has he pulled lately?
Mate, I saw him in a practice the other day, right?
Okay.
And he looked really big, like significantly bigger.
Bigger than,
totally physically transformed, different individual. I always used to think that he looked like, I'm not trying to, take away from Brendan, but he always looked like a little soft, and not overly conditioned. He looked a different individual. I saw him the other day. I was like, what the
Well, I mean, what is he now? He's coming up on like maybe, what is he, close to, like, he's in his early 20s or mid 20s. So he's hitting that physical prime. I wouldn't be surprised if he's shedding that baby fat. And he's naturally a bigger dude. Like, he's not a 198 guy. Like, if he's a 198 guy, he's really sucking weight to do it.
That's what I'm getting at.
He's got the structure. He's got the lever length, the limbs to carry it.
Yeah, he'd got old Jordan Sill on our ass.
Mm-hmm. Cody Merritt in the chat. Cody Merritt in the
he's
chat.
been in there. He's
Ryan
been in
and
there
I are talking. We got stuff planned.
Cody Merritt in the chat, mother fluffers. Yeah. We got stuff planned. There you go, Cody. Let's go. Let's go. Get it done. Because it's a match. It's got to happen. It was planned for the bloody that massive event. What was it? The Jeff Franks
The
event.
cheetah is actually known as the fastest land animal. I think it can nearly reach 70 miles per hour. But it was last Saturday. It was only a slight downhill. We did clock Lachlan at 76 miles per hour.
76 miles per hour.
Fast as fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody in the chat is wondering how Lachlan Adair actually reaches such incredible speeds, we do know the answer here on the fix, and that is Western Survivor beef jerky, mother fluffers, the greatest beef jerky in the world. Get yours at www.westernsurvivor.ca.
My dog opened since we talk about cats all the time, we're gonna have a cameo from my dog. He just opened the door.
Now that
I'm not a cat person. Sorry,
mate, that is a bonny dog, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great.
He's my boys. He's my boys.
Absolutely quality. What a stunning dog that is. New?
Yeah, he's a good boy.
You know, there's gonna be a Paul Linn dog dealer in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a cat guy then, Paul. You don't.
I'm not a cat guy. My wife has been wanting one for so long. I'm like, no.
Well,
evil.
You can't get a cat if you don't like cats. That's not good.
But you just need to have a good cat. If a lot of people have bad experiences when cats are like, you get home, he looks at you, who's like, you're late, and where's my food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually told her we're gonna get one in the new house. We'll have more space, so
yeah. So you lied.
Get her a cat.
I love this from Marco. He's put, Neil, do you think there should be more divisions, like a plus 140 kilo and above, since Levan is 107? Actually, mate, I don't. I feel like if you get above 110 kilo, you're a pretty big lad. Anyway, I think it's the big man.
120 would make more sense to me.
I would go with that, Ray.
Yeah,
I would go. I was literally going the same way.
Yeah.
I would say if you pump that up a little bit, there's a little bit of leeway on the 110s, and if you went to 120 and above, you're a genuinely really big man.
Yeah,
you're over 120. You're a big boy. And the funny thing is, you're not looking for. There's already. If it's within sight for you to diet for the weight class, you're gonna frigging do it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You show up in.
Doingen's been raising money for this East versus West thing, and it's kind of based on that. I'm thinking of opening a side pressure school for children, and we've got Uncle John already signed up as the head coach. So,
mate, it's a pity he's not on tonight. He would have taken so much abuse again for that.
Yeah, why like 8 men in Brisbane?
Hey, did you see him the other night with bloody Tirai?
I didn't get that, but we
You didn't see that, mate? Get over, check him out. He was pulling with Marcus Tirai. You're doing well.
No. I wanted him to do a cameo of like 8 men in Brisbane are stronger or something.
Oh, he that up. He should have done. He should have got. I sent him it, mate. I sent him it over, but he bottled it. He'd had a lot on his mind. Let's let him off. I mean, to be fair, when he sent us the clips, he was literally getting married like the next day.
Like right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He is setting the wrong tone doing all that.
Let's have a look at this chat here. Just to let you know, guys, we're going to be on here for about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to let these guys, actually get Ray get some sleep, maybe belt one out and then get some sleep. We're also going to... yeah, go with his fingers. And we'll let Paul then get out and walk his dog. And because what time is it over there now, Paul? Like 5 in the afternoon?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So we're going to be on for about another 10 minutes, guys. Any more questions that you want to come in? Let's have a look. You could do a 130K.
I want to do a shameless plug.
Do it.
So tomorrow, I guess 10 p.m. Dubai time, so about 4 hours from now ago back. It's 2 a.m. just right now, but I'll do live stream with Engin Terzi and Matt Mask and Hermes Gasparini together.
Nice.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah,
Nice.
for the event of East versus West, we're still raising donations to finish everything up, and we already talked. Like Engin has plans. Engin has plans.
What time's that going to be over here, Ray?
4 hours ago.
I guess 2 o'clock for you, or 1 o'clock, something like that.
PM?
Yeah.
Or AM? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's on your channel, on Voice of Arm
On my
Wrestling.
channel, Voice of Armwrestling. Yeah, you can go there and click the notifications because we haven't heard them together, and I want to hear. I'm like, oh, that would be so good.
Yeah, guys, if you're not already subscribed to these lads' channels, please get yourself over. Voice of Arm Wrestling. It's growing rapidly and rightly so. I think Voice of Arm Wrestling, what are you now, like 60K?
Oh no, 50 and a half.
And also, can we please, everybody in the chat, show some love to the White Hawk, our very own Paul Linn. Get yourself over to Lethal Arms. They are frigging Lethal Arms. Look at them bad boys. He's not playing games, is he? Get over
you cannot fly internationally, yeah, just domestic flights.
And,
Only out of Harrisburg International.
Super chat. He's put, Ray, we need more Paul Cup. Yeah, you need more Paul Cup clips. We got him here. And he's put also Neil Arm Wars jerseys. When? Working on it, mate. They're working on it. The Arm, I'll tell you what. It's vintage stuff in the vest.
Paul didn't even see it.
It's awesome, that one. The Arm Wars shirts are available now, Joe, so you can get over there. There's tons available on that, absolutely tons, and also the hoods, jackets, all available now. Let's have a look what else we got in here. I'm interested to see, right, what Hermes' demeanor is like when he's on the call with Matt.
Yeah, me too.
Like how much there really is, or whether they're going to keep it all boxed up. I'm quite interested.
Yeah, because it's personal. It's funny that it's personal, but it's personal. So
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm very interested in that. I think it's gonna be great. So
you still got Hermes though?
Oh yeah, still get Hermes.
What, easy or hard?
Easy.
Ooh. Easy. But what do you think, Paul?
Oh man, this is one I go back and forth on. I tend to think I tend to kind of lead towards Ray, and I think Hermes might, and Ray grabbed him. He looks so good. But to me it's a toss up. Like which version of Matt shows up and how much control he gets in the setup and how comfortable he is. He's that guy at peak form is the man. But right now, I'm just kind of thinking Hermes kind of hitting a physical prime and everything, and also being really motivated because of the last match. When you have revenge on your side, you're a different person. So I tend to think Hermes might win this one, but I'm rooting for Matt.
So in that, in the top 8 announcement the other day that Igor made, I wanted to check this out and I didn't like a dick before I came on, but he was talking about Hermes being in the overall top 8, not the under 95 top 8, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So Hermes isn't going to cut weight. He's going to stay big.
No. He's going to stay there. Yeah.
Is he looking to go bigger? Like
he
continue to get big.
How tall is he?
Then he needs to train, like really train.
My height, 6'1".
6'1". Okay.
Yeah, thereabouts. He's no bigger than me.
Okay.
I think he can hit like because his hand is the most dominant part of his body. Mm-hmm. So this is stronger than everything else. Imagine that. So I think if he starts working out with a little bit more chest, shoulder, arms, whatever, he can go up to 130. Because he's getting chubby. He was like, I see those cheeks. I'm like, dude, you're looking chubby. He's like,
Mate, his friggin' head looked like a bread bin. Head. The other day, looking at him, he looked lantern jaw. He looked big, didn't he? Like
Yeah.
More like fucking Paul's dog.
Yeah.
Somebody said he's 118 kilos right now.
There you go. Yeah, Marco's just come in with, he's 118 now. So, yeah.
I just think it's a lot of power. It's a lot of power. It's a big guy. It's an arm wrestler from birth, He's been, breed into this.
Yeah, his dad.
Yeah. And that's the difference. Like, he was good from the start. He won his first Worlds 2012, 2013, I don't know, 14-2, I think. But he was like on a dominant path right away, straight away. So, that just shows, that just shows.
You do need to line up with the shirt, though, mate. Get that shirt sorted. When you get him on the call, practice table champ shirt, that's one.
That's the one. Yeah, I'm like, please, I'll make it for you in Turkey, and you need to wear it on your match.
Get it done.
So, yeah.
Absolutely essential item. It really is. Guys in the chat, we're going to be on for about 5 more minutes. So we're down to the last 5 minutes of Pick 64. You do have any questions? Cat dealers come flying in again with a couple of emojis for you there, mate. Loving it.
Can I shoot a plug out there, Neil, for my buddy?
Yeah, get it done, dude.
So next week, a couple of people asked what the next tournament I'm going to be to, and I don't like it. My brain is fried with all this movement and everything, but I committed to Bart Wood 6 months back that I would be up to his fundraiser tournament for his son's high school football team. I think it's like Trojan Wars is the name of the event. Last year it was really good. It had like 200 entries. The place was jam-packed and there were really good pullers there. So if you're interested in that tournament, if you're in the Northeast at all, it is definitely going to be one to get to. And I think it's going to be packed again, probably even more so. So I'll be there. And if you need the information, just reach out to me on any of my socials.
Just give some information to give state, city, whatever.
Oh, it's Erie, Pennsylvania. According to Bart, that's the mecca of arm wrestling, but I know some people on the West Coast would argue. But yeah, no, I think Dave Chafee's going to be a lot. There's a lot of us who support Bart who are going to be there. Paul Talbot will be there. Sam will be there. We'll all be up.
Any big notable matches, super matches, or is it just going to be like just tournament stuff?
Last time it was 100% tournament. It all proceeds go to the Erie McDowell football, which is where his son is a very predominant figure in. So it is a big fundraiser. I think they raised several $1,000s last year for it. So it's one of those deals where I'm never going to turn that down. So I'll make that 5-hour drive up and help out in any way I can.
Tremendous stuff. A couple of people in the chat there saying they'd like to see you pull against Rob Vigent Jr. Is that a match you were looking for anytime soon, mate?
Absolutely. Tell me the date. I love Rob. I'm sure he would want to wait for WAL. But yeah, that's really the one I want.
That's it. That you hit the nail on the head straight away, mate. That's the one that you were sort of hanging fire for coming into the WAL. I think it was the next logical step for both of you, wasn't it, really? So
yeah, and it's honestly the wind I think got drawn from my sails a bit with the WAL kind of, and then the not knowing and everything, and it makes it tough to kind of focus on what do you want to do, where you want to go and everything else, and then life changes and everything. But I think it's coming back. I think WAL is coming back. I think Neil's kind of alluded to it a bunch. A lot of people I know who are heavily involved with the WAL, that they're going to come back. It's just a matter of when. So I'm keeping my breath held. Yeah,
with a bit of luck, COVID does pass us by, God willing. Does pass us by, and we can get the friggin' get everything going again. Top 8 comes back, the PAL start rolling big time, WAL comes back, and we've got the additional layer that we've got in play because of COVID-19, and we start seeing the big matches with Larry's stuff. Yeah, exciting time to be an arm wrestler, isn't it? It's weird how things change, forced requirement.
I think you will see a lot of events coming from Engin, and you will see a lot of events coming from Larry. All kind of independent, just good matches, matches we want to see. Arm wrestling world want to see. Hold some water, hold some grudges, whatever,
I would like to see the Engin matches supported live by a larger channel, if possible.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Are you doing it? Are you?
Yes, I'm going to
full
Turkey.
Live feed? Full live feed? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, because I know like, and I have nothing against Derek, but like I tried to tune in and but like I feel like the rewatch, it has nothing to do with like Derek's channel or anything like that. I just feel like a channel with the amount of traction that you have is going to help Engin even more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the idea behind it, because I as soon as he made it, I reached out to him and said like man, like the best way I can help is like I can host all the matches, you know, even if I'm not there, we can figure out through the servers and blah blah blah. But right now I was supposed to leave, like get home on 2nd of June, but I'm staying about like week longer in Dubai, and then I'm going straight to Turkey, and then I'm leaving back home at 14. So I haven't been, or will not be at home for at least 9-8 weeks.
So you've been over there for 8 weeks? Or
Oh, no. In total after that. Now we still have to, I'm still 4 weeks. It's already 4 weeks and I'm staying.
You're popular with your missus back home, aren't you?
She's fine. She's she will get here on 27th and will stay with me through the rest of the trip.
So that's the script. She's coming out for like the holiday element of it.
For the holiday element, yeah.
Smart.
You're bloody right, mate. I'll tell you what, she'd beat the living piss out of you.
Because I said like maybe you want to go to Turkey? She's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's the way my wife is too. I'm like, hey, I gotta travel for work. I'm going to like Alabama. She's like, I'm not coming. The minute I go to Hawaii or somewhere like that, she's like, I'll be there.
Yeah, all about a strategy. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up there and let you guys get off and get on with it. Well, not you, obviously, Ray. You're going to be hitting the hay. But I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody in the chat, guys, who's taken the time out to come on, check us out. As I said before, if you're not already subscribed to Lethal Arms Network, get over there. Please give our man Paul a like, a sub. Let everybody know about his channel. Get over to Rolly Royce and The Voice for everything that's happened with Larry. If you want to see that whole journey, the whole progression with Larry Wheels, it's all documented on The Voice of Arm Wrestling. He's also going to be out there doing the live stream, remember? And just one more time, mate, give us that plug for what you're doing with Engin, Hermes and Matt. Yeah,
so today we did live stream with Tony Kitowski. Božidar was supposed to join, but Božidar was caught in traffic and it was some kind of accident. He was moving like 10 kilometers an hour and a half, so he couldn't make it. But it was me, Tony, and Engin. So you can rewatch that on the channel if you haven't seen it. We just talked about the match. Tomorrow, it's already today. We're gonna talk about for me. It's today. We're gonna talk with Hermes and Matt, and then on Wednesday, Zaluyev and Todd, and I want to get on Tuesday, if everything is possible, Sarah and Irina.
No, that's interesting that you're getting Hadji and Todd on.
Yeah, Arsen Luleyev is coming as well on Wednesday. I'm gonna after we finish with Hermes and Matt, I will post the links and everything for that live stream as well. So yeah, Hadji Murad Zaluyev together with Arsen Luleyev will be there. I will help to translate if everything is needed. Todd Hutchings is joining, and most likely Engin. Engin will. It's hard for Engin to stay away from.
Oh man, Engin will be on there.
Yeah,
110%. Ladies and gents, I want to say again, thank you for checking us out, for tuning in. If this is your first time here on Supernatural Strength, please like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know about it. We are only a few days away now from that massive match out in Dubai. Casting it belt extension. If this is your first visit, like, share, subscribe, guys. We're very close to the big match now. Please do make the effort. For everybody in the sport of arm wrestling, I can't emphasize enough, this is a massive opportunity. It's a massive opportunity for the sport. Please get the live stream, get it sorted. It's, what is it, like $9 or something? It's
$7 now. It was $5, but I believe the sales are pretty good. I haven't talked with them, but from what only Michael has said, I think this sales are good. So most likely new events will happen. And thanks to every fan who bought it, who will watch it. And
Like, can we talk about this just for 1 second before we leave? It is very important that we support this.
Huge.
It is super important. Like, everybody's selling T-shirts and training tools and everything else. that's great to support those people. But if you want to support arm wrestling and the individual promotion of it, please, for the love of everything good, pay your $7 to this, not to pay those people who are putting it on, but to prove that it is a marketable thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
To
Do your
literally
part.
show them
Yeah.
the weight and the scale and the magnitude of the game of iron arm.
That's it.
That's what it's all about, guys. This is, so let's show it. Let's show it, because if we want people to pump money into the sport, what better way to illustrate the fact that the sport has got some grunt, So
this is the one to flex on. This is the one to flex on.
It would be awesome if everybody can do that. And as I say, at the end of the day, we're talking like around $10 or something. It's the price of 2 beers on a frigging night out, so it's nothing.
Pennies.
Obviously, we're real. You get blown. That.
I get water for that.
And where Frodo Hoglan lives, you can't get a coffee for that. That's a different story.
No, he can get
a little bit like it's an expensive country on earth. Guys, we're going to leave it there until we see you next time here on The Fix, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy, peeps.
Stay strong. Love Armwrestling. Love you guys.
He got it in.